back. Thanks for tuning into another video. In today's video, we're going to just be going over a quick run through of something we did last year, just a little bit of an update. I'd like to do that for you guys, show you how things hold up and how they've been working. And that, for today's video, is the caliper paint. So if you didn't see that video, make sure you go back and check it out first, see how it was all done. And if you like what you see, thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next ones. But I will flip you around, show you exactly what we used at the time and how it's holding up. Alright, so if you are new here, we did paint on my 2019 Mustang GT here, and all we used was this Duplicolor engine enamel. Stands up to the heat. Other than this, we just put a coat of primer underneath. I'm not going to use primer to touch it up, I'm just going to use this today. But I'll show you a quick little rundown of how things are holding up. The rears are not too bad. There's a couple little chips on the corners. You can see obviously where rocks have been bouncing around in the wheels. You just get little nicks here and there. The fronts, same kind of idea. On the corners, I'm guessing the paint probably just didn't bond quite as well as the rest. I don't know if you guys can see, but back here as well, there's a little piece missing. And then same thing where you can see rocks probably have been bouncing around in there. Little nicks here and there. But overall, they've been holding up pretty good. So all I'm going to do today is, because this is spray paint, obviously I'm not going to be spraying under there without any plastic or anything. So I'm just going to shake it up, spray a little bit into a plastic container, make it more just like a paint, but at least then you have the same color. I got a little brush, so we'll brush it on, and not looking for perfect, obviously, but it will look better than having the chip showing off because it's black under there, so it stands out like a sore thumb. Especially with the new rims we got on the car, it's much easier to see everything in there. So I'll shake this up, get her going, and see how it works. Alright, now like I said, I just ended up spraying a little bit into a yogurt container here. She's nice and wet. Grab your paintbrush, just get a little paint, and as I mentioned, I'm not looking for professional results. I'm just going to cover up the ugly spots as best I can. I know right now in the camera it looks like she's not sticking, but this is just the first little base coat to get it covered. Once it gets a little tacky, then she should cover just fine. And the color difference also is just because it is not dry, so it looks a little bit lighter than it actually is in person. You might see it a little bit, but unless you're right up close looking, I wouldn't worry too much about it, or I'm not worried too much about it anyways. But that's all I needed. Touch up a little bit here and there. So we'll go around the whole car, do the same to the other brakes, maybe do 2 or 3 coats. We'll see how it covers, and then we'll show you the final results. Just a note, yogurt containers are apparently made out of paper on the bottom now. So got it all over my hands. We're gonna upgrade to the plastic guy here. Don't follow my first instructions and use the yogurt container. Alright, so this container held up. Obviously it's all plastic, not paper on the bottom. But we're done with the car. I'm gonna let it dry for about 5-10 minutes before I show you guys the results, but I figured I'd show you a little bit how I did this because of how it looks in the container here. Because it's spray paint, it comes out really liquidy obviously when you pour it up, or pour it into something, spray it into something. So what I was doing is I would kind of brush it up the sides of the container here and almost let it dry slightly. Now obviously not so it's so tacky that it's kind of pulling the container with it, but just let it dry maybe 2-3 minutes. Give it a stir once in a while, just let it all kind of not harden, but start to get a little tacky. That way, when you put it on the car, because after I went around the first layer, same thing, it gets a little bit tacky like paint does. And this stuff is engine enamel, so it sticks. This is where that container blew up on me, and I scrubbed it off right away, and you can still see I'm gonna have to go and get a brush and brush the crap out of my hands to get this stuff off. But good thing is, it does the same thing on the brakes. So let it get a little bit tacky, dab the parts you want to fill in where the chips are. Once it's all done, go over with the brush and then give it strokes. Instead of dabs, give it a little bit of a stroke, and it'll cover nice and evenly. If it happens to drip, maybe you got a bit of paint on the brush and it runs. That's why when you give it the strokes, it'll kind of even it out, flatten out where the chips were. Obviously, you'll still see it a little bit where the chips were because it's 2 different layers of paint. But for the most part, she looks good. So let's wait a couple minutes, let her dry. I'll show you how she looks. And we let her dry for about 10 minutes, and here you go. You can see if you get really close up there, you'll be able to see where it is, but most of the time, anybody who's painting brakes, it's for visual looks, and people are going to be standing way back here, plus your worm will be there. So it turned out pretty dang good. By the time I got to the 3rd coat, I put 3 coats on here. You could almost not tell where I painted. I had to actually pay attention to where I was painting. But you can see rear as well. She's all back to green for the most part. And the worst one was actually over here. I don't know what happened, if it didn't stick properly to the brakes or what, but it was pretty ugly. And you can see these are all back to green as well. So we'll let it dry for just a little bit longer, and then we'll throw the wheels back on. But before that, I do have one more thing. And what that is these Brembo stickers. That's right, I finally have got them. I did actually order these way back when I painted the calipers originally, but never got around to putting them on between work and just life and laziness. Never got them on, so I figured wheels are off, paint is fresh, I'll let it dry. We'll stick these on. If you're wondering, I got these off of Amazon. It does come with the big ones for the front. Little ones, if you have the Brembo brakes in the back, maybe you upgraded, mine doesn't have it, or if you have GT350 or GT500, where they come with the Brembos in the back, you have your 2 smaller ones for the rear as well. But for me and my car, we only need those 2. So we'll save that for later. But for now, like I said, let her dry. We'll get these on, see how she looks, and put the wheels and tires back on. Alright, so we got her off. Now, not everybody's gonna like my method of doing this. Some people want to go in and they want to measure and find the center and all that stuff. But what I recommend, just eyeball it. For me, the E and the M in between is kind of halfway point. So we're gonna find the halfway point on the caliper and put it on. Reason I say eyeball it is because if you take this to your naked eye, put it on your brake, and it looks good to you, it's going to look good every time you take a look at your brakes. Whereas if you measure it, maybe when you look at it, it looks a little too high, a little too low. Maybe it's a little bit side to side. You can't quite decide how it should sit, but you go off your measurements. Now, every time you look at this sticker, it's going to be off to your eyes anyways. So it might be right measurement-wise, but to you, to actually see this thing every day is going to throw you off and just piss you off. So for me, like I said, E and the M, kind of halfway point. So I'm going to find the halfway point on the brake, put her on, rub it down, peel off the sticky tape, and then she should be good to go. And voila. Let's go get the wheels back on, take her outside in the nice sunny day we got finally. See how she looks. There we go, wheels on, out in the sun, nice and green. Brembo's looking good. Once the wheels are on, you definitely can't see where we touched it up. So that's all we were asking. Let's see, looks good in there. Brembo makes it pop with the black on green especially. So I am happy with how this turned out. Well, there you have it, guys. That's all for this video. All we needed to do was get our Brembo sticker on, and it makes it look way better than it was before. I like the green with the solid green as well, but with the sticker on there just makes it pop. Looks like it's more stock for the car. And then people know you got the Brembos up front as well. They don't have to second guess. Maybe they think I'm up badging a car. You never know. There's a lot of those around. So now they know it's our Brembos. We're good to go. She stops, looking pretty. Off to the car show for tonight. See what's out there. So stay tuned. Like and subscribe. Hopefully catch you guys on the next one. And thanks for watching this one, everybody.